Alright, so let's just settle in. This is a special new moon Satsang tonight, and the new moon is very much about planting new seeds, new intentions, and those of you who are gardeners, you know it's a good time to start planting in the garden as well. So tonight we're going to plant some seeds in the field of consciousness, and these seeds will take root and ripen over the next couple of weeks, so it's quite important what we feed in here. Hello Sue, hello Radiant Health.
It's Birgit.
Hi, Birgit. That's Birgit, yes. Alright, so gently close your eyes, settle back. Hopefully you've made arrangements that you won't be disturbed for the next little while. And just settle in. And just connect with the stillness that underlies the mind, that underlies any sounds that you can hear right now, including my voice. There's a stillness, a sacred stillness. Just become aware of the stillness. The mind is accustomed to paying attention to things, to sounds. And when we try and pay attention to stillness, it can be a bit confusing. Because how does one pay attention to no-thingness? But in truth, when we focus our attention and our awareness on the field and the depth of stillness that underlies all existence, there is a clearing of the mind and a clarity of awareness. So let's just spend a moment or two practicing that, paying attention to the stillness, to the silence that's underneath and deeper than all form. And notice what happens on the inside when you focus on the stillness. Let's bring our attention now to the breath and take a very deep breath in. And as you release the breath, just release all other times and all other places, and just be here now. Take another very deep breath in, deeper than the first, and let's just do that practice again, releasing all stories of yesterday and to tomorrow, just being here in this moment, here and now. And once more on the out-breath, just feel that connection to the stillness. Underneath the breath is stillness. Take a third very deep breath in now. And on the out-breath, connect with that stillness even deeper. Become very alert, very alive to stillness. Stillness and peace go hand in hand. And for most people, they want to live in a world of peace. And we possibly try and manipulate situations around ourselves to bring us peace. And yet, the peace is here all the time. The stillness is always here. It doesn't need to be brought in. We just need to become aware of it. It's always here. if we let go of all that we're not, that which we are is left. And that which we are is the stillness, is the peace, is life. So let's do that for a moment. Let us release our name, our gender, all concepts about self, achievements, problems with our circumstances, or maybe physical problems with the body. Let's just leave all of that for the moment. Just leave all of that. We can pick up the problems and the challenges later, but in this moment, let's become immersed in this stillness, this emptiness, this no-thingness. Let's dive deep into this peace. And as we do this, we amplify this vibration, this frequency of awareness out into the world. And right now, we are portals for peace in the world. As we find the peace within, so that peace is able to be radiated out into the world we experience on the outside. This peace is beautiful. In this peace we find true love, not the love of form, attachment, but the formless. Tonight, the new moon doesn't reflect any light. There is an emptiness. And in that emptiness there is pure potentiality for newness to be born. And as we realize in this moment our true emptiness, which is our being, so we realize that we have infinite potential. And in this present moment, we can choose that which we want to express, that which we want to give to the world. In the coming time. But first we have to prepare the soil. And the soil that we are preparing right now is a soil of emptiness, which is the fullness of potential life, potential expression of life. And as we honor the sacredness of this evening with the no moon light, so the vitality within us is heightened. And we invite the sacredness of the divine into this emptiness to ignite this fertility. That something beautiful, something magnificent, something meaningful may be born through us into this world of form. It is good. It is God. It is divine. Take a deep breath in now. Very, very deep breath in. Right down to the solar plexus. And release the breath with gratitude for this gathering, this satsang tonight. And when you're ready, you may gently open your eyes. And just see how you feel in this moment. Maybe you want to type up in the comments box how you feel right now.
That was lovely. Thanks, John.
Thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Hi, Dennis.
Hello,
Hi,
Dennis.
Sue.
Yeah.
Oh, good to have you all with us tonight.
Yeah. So what's happening from
New moon.
an astrological point of view with the new moon,
Just the new moon today.
in case
So
people haven't
today
listened
we
to
are-
your new moon update?
Yeah.
If you are not on, if you haven't subscribed yet to Michelle's channel, please subscribe. If you're on Facebook, please like and share this. If you're on YouTube, please press the subscribe and the bell, so you get notifications. So thank you. So yeah, what's happening?
So it's a new moon, and new moon's always time to plant new seeds, as you've just so beautifully taken us through in the opening meditation. So new seeds for the month ahead, and it's a dark moon tonight, which means that you can't see it. So it's a time of being quiet, and that's what I felt today. It was just a time to be quiet and to maybe go within a little bit and to see what comes up when we have some quietness, have some downtime, because that's basically for me, that's the energy of a new moon. And particularly in Pisces, Pisces is the final sign of the zodiac. So this is a very potent time to really kind of see what do we want to kind of bring into our lives more so in the next month, but also in the next year, because we're heading to a new astrological year. So how do we want to be? What do we want to? How do we want to feel? So I would say that that's the kind of intention to plant this new moon, not necessarily just for outward stuff, but how do we want to feel? Pisces is a water sign. It's feely. It's a feeling water sign. So you might be feeling some emotions. You might have been feeling even some sadness. Some people are going through some grief and some loss. So whatever's coming up for you, just know that it's coming up to be cleared, to be felt and cleared. So, grief can sometimes be a clearing. Sadness can sometimes be a clearing. And sometimes we don't know what it is. And sometimes we don't need to know. Yeah.
Yeah, so this time is very much about the clearing, it's about the letting go, and it's about allowing the emptiness to be there. And many people are at the moment between the old world and the new world. Many people are feeling a little bit of confusion, and maybe a little bit of depression is rising to the surface, in that there's nothing driving them forward for purpose and meaning in the doing world. But this evening we don't have to do any of that. Right now it's just a time of stepping back into that stillness, as we said in the opening meditation, stepping back into that fallow stage, that just allowing the emptiness to be there. And I believe that when life wants something new to be born through you, it will be there. You don't have to worry about it at all. The work we have to do at the moment, I believe, is not an outward expression, it's an inward cleansing, going inward and allowing this moment to be. And as Michelle said, to feel those feelings, not to hold on to the stories, because what happens is when we tend to feel something, we generate stories around that feeling and we hold on to those stories. Then you're not truly feeling anymore. If you are regurgitating past, then you're not present. And the only time you can truly feel is when you are present, absolutely present. So that's our purpose, particularly tonight in this satsang, is to be present, and just to allow the emptiness and the stillness to be higher up in our level of awareness than normal.
Yeah, I think the key words there are emptiness and stillness and quietness. It's that it's the dark moon. The dark moon is quiet. It's dark. It's not bad. It's beautiful, but it's like the evening. It's when the sound of the days kind of retreat, and you get the evening sound. It's that kind of energy where everything starts to quieten down, and we quieten down. That's this time of the month is when we quieten down and just go into that being state. And new moon in Pisces is more so than that, more so than normal. It's that surrendered state of just being. And even if you're doing something, to do it in a quiet way. And this energy will carry on for a couple of days, so it's not just today. So I think it's really important for us to just see, how do we really want to feel? That's the intention. You know, on our journey we do inspired intention. We do a week of that, and of the journey to freedom. And what is inspired intention? How do you want to feel in the world? And one of the ways that we can look at that is, it's sort of back to front, but how don't we want to feel is quite a good way of seeing how we do want to feel.
Well, normally people know what they don't want.
Like, you don't want to feel angry. You don't want to feel that you're being unkind. You don't want to have conflict. So that gives you a clue as to what you do want, and the seeds that you do want to plant. So if you battle to know what you want, think about what you don't want, and then put your attention on that. Turn it around and put your attention on that. So if you don't want war, well, what do you want? If you don't want conflict, what do you want? So it's just a little thing that we can use for planting intentions, planting seeds. So what seeds are we planting? And life gives us the opportunity of planting seeds every month, but every day, every minute, every second, we're creating our next moment. So what seeds are we creating in this moment that are going to manifest in the next moment? It's not just the new moon. We have every night, we have a day, and we have a night, and we have an awakening, and there's just this ongoing cycle of being, and that this moment becomes another moment, becomes another moment, becomes another moment.
Yeah. And what's important, Sher says she can't hear us. Can you hear us?
Can the others hear us?
Let us know. Let me just. So what's important in the lying fallow is the quietness, is to see that the ground. Jill can hear us, thank you. And if you can hear us all the way from Switzerland, nobody else can hear us.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Sherry can hear us as well. Yeah. So part of the nourishment of the soil is the moisture, the water, the rain. And what Michelle was saying there about the energy we're in the moment is very much a water sign. So it's very good to connect with that water energy. And that water energy, as Michelle said, is feeling. So this new moon is a very important time, as Michelle was saying, to set the groundwork for those feelings that we want to grow. And to honor those feelings. To first of all identify them, to know what they are, and then to amplify them with our attention, with our focus. So in the past, we've quite often looked to our fulfillment in the external world. And so we have planted seeds that will actually grow in the external world and ultimately bring us a return on our investment in the material world. But we're going through a time of transformation now. We're going through what's called the shift, the awakening shift. And this is not a time of repeating old patterns. This is a time of acquiring new skills, new tools, and new direction in our lives. So in this lying fallow, maybe we can, in fact, ask the divine emptiness for guidance as far as what the new seeds are that we want to plant. We might not even know what they are, but we can use this time of lying fallow to actually listen. And the only time we can truly listen is when the mind is quiet. So let us just commit ourselves to a little bit of quiet time over the next few days, next, say, maybe 2-3 days. to allow us to listen to what life has to say, what life has to offer as far as direction goes, and what seeds to plant. Now, this lying fellow mustn't be seen as a reaching for a certain outcome. It is actually just lying fallow. That's all it is. Just being empty, being completely empty in this moment. And if nothing arises, that's also absolutely perfect, because when it is time for action, then you'll find yourself taking the right action, having laid quiet for a while. You will find that the right action will come through you. So when I say listen, don't listen with any expectation. Don't listen with any future in mind. Listen with the power of presence. And how we do that is to actually be in a state of full appreciation of what life is in this moment, just this moment. Full appreciation of the abundance of life that you're experiencing now. I mean, this breath that we're taking now is a sign of abundance, isn't it? But also to experience and to allow the abundance and the stillness of the divine to occupy our awareness. So they say prayer is talking to God and meditation is listening to God. And I'm going to suggest, while prayer is important, I'm going to suggest over the next few days, let us spend more time in meditation, in the listening to God, and being open, being that open field which allows newness to be planted into it. Not from the mind, but preferably through the heart.
I think that's, the word opening, I think, is the opening and surrendering to whatever arises. And as John said, it might be an insight, it might be a feeling, it might be a sensation, it might be something that's just rippling through you, to just be open to whatever it is and accepting of whatever shows itself. And sometimes things will be shown to you that aren't so pleasant, or a portion or a part of you that you don't particularly like or aren't particularly fond of. So to be open to that, even that, there's this too, there's this part of me. It's not me, but there's this that comes up, and in the quietness, sometimes that happens. Sometimes those old resentments and those old feelings and those old thought patterns start to replay. But you notice it when you're quiet. You don't notice it when you're too busy. And so that's why most of us, or many of us, will keep ourselves busy all the time, because we don't want to hear that voice. We don't want to hear those old belief patterns. We don't want to hear those old things that we haven't healed yet. So we tend to then fill the spaces with stuff that we have to do, or with screen time, or with something that's desperately has to be finished right now, rather than just listening. Just being present to listen to what's happening in this moment, and open to it.
Yeah, and you mentioned there about the thoughts once more, is when we are feeling, quite often again we make a story out of the feeling, and we get lost again in those thoughts. Every thought we think is a movement away from presence. Let that sink in. Every thought we think takes us away from the sacred stillness of presence. And for most people, they get their sense of self from the thinking mind. I am because I think, therefore I am. And nothing could be further from the truth than that. You are the space in which the thoughts appear. And right now this shift, this fundamental shift that we're making as a species, is to recognize our true essence. And the true essence is the consciousness into which thoughts come and thoughts go. But it's the consciousness which always remains present, always remains here and now. And it's to know yourself as that. That is the liberation that is required in order for the new earth to be born. It's a liberation from the confines of a limited, finite self constructed in the thinking mind. And in that stillness, there is immense power, immense creativity. We are powerful beyond measure. We have limited ourselves, and I'm sure if people are on other planets or higher dimensions, they look down, they can't believe how we have constricted and confined ourselves to small little boxes when we are magnificent. And this is a time, I believe, of dissolving those boxes, dissolving those limited self-beliefs that keep us a prisoner in old repeating patterns in the mind, and liberating ourselves and allowing ourselves to experience our true creative essence as seeds of the divine expressing itself in a magnificent universe. So this is the time of finding that stillness, that sacredness underneath all the doingnesses of the body and the mind, and valuing that more than the thinking and the doingness, and knowing that you, each one of you, is powerful beyond measure. There are multiple realities that we can step into in any moment, but we have to choose. This is a planet of free choice. We can continue to live in the old world dominated by its false evidence appearing real. I am what I do, I am what I have, I am what other people think of me. Or we can step into the true essence of being that we are, which is in fact the co-creator of reality itself, the fabric of life itself. Now is the time to awaken to our true power, and it comes not so much from doing, but more from being, from being.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing is that a lot of us, you said we've defined ourselves in different ways. We often define ourselves and value ourselves for our doing. And that's fine, except that if that's the only value that we have as human doings, then where does a human being come in? So most of us are striving to do something more, to achieve something more. If I achieved this, then I would feel okay about myself. If I could sort this out, then everything would be okay. And I think when a lot of people in my environment right now are realizing that that's just not true. You can have everything you want in the outside world. You can have fame and wealth and happiness and children and parents and people who love you. If it isn't inside you, you're not going to be feeling it. You're going to still be wanting something else. And so whatever we're wanting in the outside world is where there's a deficit inside ourselves that we think that needs to be filled. I'm not whole because of this. I'm not enough. So it's turning it around to say, yes, we are enough. Right now, even if you didn't do another thing in your life, you're still enough. You're still an important part of the tapestry, a crucial part of the tapestry. Without you, there would be a gaping hole in the tapestry of life. And that, for me, that's what this time is about. It's like the ocean of awareness. We're all connected, whether we believe it or not. Yes, we're very different, and yes, we're living different lives, but we are all connected. So if you weren't here in this exact form, the way that you are showing up, there would be a big hole. There would be, the human, the design, the great organizing design would be flawed because you wouldn't be here and you wouldn't be playing your role. You wouldn't be playing your thread. You wouldn't be expressing your thread. So what is each one of our individual threads at any one moment? What are we here to give, do, be in any one moment? What is it that makes us joyful? That's a good place to start. What is it that makes us joyful? Because if you're in that state of joy, that just fills the tapestry with that vibration, that fills the field with that. So what kind of vibration, if you called it a vibration, would you want to be giving out into the world? What would you be wishing to feed into the field? That's a good question for New Year. new beginnings.
New beginnings, yeah.
New moons.
Yeah, the secret of the universe doesn't lie so much in the doingness. It lies in frequency, vibration, intention. That's where it lies. This is the field that underlies all of physical creation, is this field of intention. And that intention comes from the vibration we put into there. And so this period of the new moon, I believe, is wiping the slate clean, emptying the slate of the old vibrations that, we've experienced, and maybe we've had ups and maybe we've had downs with it, but now's the time just to clear that slate, to blow it away, to blow it smooth, and just to allow, to settle and to allow, knowing that when the time is right, the new seeds that have been planted will start to grow within you, into the world around you. And it's to make being more important right now than doing. This is not a time so much of doing. It's more a time of just coming back to that emptiness, that stillness, and honoring it, because it is the sacred. It's the womb, the sacred womb out of which all existence arises. And to honor this sacred womb with our full attention, with our full beingness, with our full presence.
Now, and how often do we really do that in this day and age?
Well, hopefully most people do it every day with their opening meditation in the morning.
Yeah, but there's so much being fed to us at any one moment, especially via these little things that you've got in your hand right now, probably. It's endless. It's endless amusement and entertainment and information, and it's incredible.
It's all about the mind, though.
But it's all about mind. So how long have you spent, or how much can you be just being? Before we got these little fancy little screen things, we used to sit on a veranda or outside or lie on the grass and just be. How often do we do that now? Even in a conversation, when you're talking to someone, they're busy on their phone. So can we be present, fully present, for what the person in front of us is saying? Can we be fully present for what we are saying to ourselves without trying to look it up or look at some other person's opinion to give us an answer? Because I just feel that this is a time where we're connecting with our intuitive knowing. And your intuitive knowing isn't going to come from Google or YouTube. It's time for us to actually feel into what we believe, what we feel to be true, what our own vibration is, what our own frequency is. So I think that it's just becoming more and more essential. It's not even a nice to have anymore. We have to spend time in nature. We have to spend time unplugged from devices. Because if we don't, we're losing that connection. And that is our truth. That is who we are. But we're separating ourselves from it. Not that you can ever really separate from it, but what would you say? We can't really separate it from it, but we're
feeding the mind because for example, the digital addictions that many people have, it's feeding the mind. It's feeding the dopamine and the serotonin, etc. hits in the brain. And the mind loves more information, more. However, nature doesn't necessarily give us more, but what it does do, it gives us life, it gives us stillness, it gives us connection to the sacred, to the divine. So yes, use your devices, use the digital technology when appropriate. But let's use this time that we're in right now to connect with that stillness that nature provides. As Michelle suggested, let's go and sit in the stillness in a garden, for example, or on a park bench, and just be.
Just for a few minutes during the day as well. You don't have to just do it once. You can do it. Have pauses during the day where you're not connected to anything outside feeding you anything.
Yeah. And it's to just be aware that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. We've heard that before. But in this time it's to listen twice as much as we talk. To enter into that stillness, that quietness, that emptiness, with more of our attention, more of our energy, to allow that stillness to be there. So that's the energy of the new moon. Yeah.
And for a lot of the month, because there's a lot of this energy around, so it's not just the new moon.
And also, as you said, we are stepping into a new year, astrologically.
We're ending off the year now, so that's why a lot of stuff's coming up for people now, because there's a finishing off. It's a forgiveness time, it's a letting go time. So each year we have a cycle, and it starts sort of at the end of March and goes until now, and that cycle is ending. So at the end of each cycle, there's often this feeling of, there can be tiredness, there can be exhaustion, there can be fatigue, there can be grief, there can be anything that's sort of a little bit overwhelmed, because you're at the end of a cycle. It often happens also actually just before your birthday. So on your birthday, people expect you to be full of beans and happy because it's your birthday, but sometimes leading up to your birthday, the day before, a couple of days before, there's a bit of a dip, because you're at the end of your solar cycle. Your solar return, which is when the sun comes back to its place of when you were born. That's called the solar return. And so that's your birthday, when people wish you many happy returns. So just before your birthday, there can sometimes be a dip, because you go, okay, you're at the end of a cycle. And we don't recognize a lot of, especially in our kind of Western culture, we don't recognize those cycles very deeply.
Yeah.
And, we sort of see them as, there's a big white light in the sky that's got nothing to do with us, but it's not true. And we're part of this fabric. So if there's a tug on that planet and there's a pull on that over there, it's affecting us and we are affecting it. So it's as is the macrocosm, as is the microcosm. So we are just as important as the whole, and we're also just as important as the little cricket on the floor. There's no difference of importance between us and everything else. So just to know we're all connected, and it's all cyclical. And whatever you're going through now will pass, because it has to.
Yeah. And just to add to that, you're talking about being connected. So the analogy I often use of the hand, while all the tips of the fingers are all separate, they all meet over here in the palm. And while they have different activities and different functions out there, in the middle there's a stillness. And that is what we're talking about tonight. That emptiness, that stillness, that's where we connect. We all come out of our egoic personality self, and we meet in the oneness of presence. And what is the meeting in oneness? We call it love.
Yeah.
So love is to be found in the stillness. And I know a lot of people have been programmed from childhood to seek love in their doingness. You did well at school, your parents loved you more, your teachers loved you more. You did well in sport, and you were loved more by your friends, for example. And we were programmed to look for love in doingness, but love comes in our beingness. In our beingness. Your doingness will never be enough, and it will never be permanent. All doings come and go. And the love that we're looking for is the permanent love, the love that doesn't have a positive or negative and can't be taken away from us. And that is in that stillness. So let us spend more time, more attention. Let's honor the sacred stillness within us all. And within everything, because that's when we can see the stillness in another, that's when we see their God self, and that's when we know ourselves to be that. And I'm looking at the figures, at the moment worldwide, there seems to be a huge number of souls that are choosing to leave the planet at the moment. And so loss and grief is quite high up in people's awareness at the moment. And it's to be known, yes, while the thingnesses come and go, here in the stillness we all meet. We're all always connected in stillness, in silence. Yeah.
What was that Rumi saying? Out in the field.
Yeah, there is a field. Not beyond the concept of right and wrong, there is a field. I'll meet you there. And that field, in stillness, there is no right and no wrong, because there's no polarity, there's no judgment. That's where we meet. That is love. We all meet in that field of no time, of no judgment, of stillness. So if any of you have lost loved ones lately, you meet them in that field of stillness. No mind. You don't meet them in a photograph. You don't meet them in a memory. You meet their true essence, which is life, in the stillness of presence. We've got a card. But shall we choose an affirmation for the card for the week ahead? Shall I choose tonight? All right. Well, I'm drawn to that one. Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. We'll show you that card in a moment. Okay, you're going to lead us out with a new moon meditation.
All right, just take a deep breath in and a releasing, softening, relaxing breath out. And on each out breath, see if you can just relax your body more and more. Just allowing a beautiful, gentle, liquid light to come in through the top of your head. Let's make this a mother of pearl, pinky, very feminine, liquid light. This beautiful light comes swirling down into your head, and as it swirls down and around, allow your eyelids to soften, the little muscles around your eyes to soften, the nose to relax, the frown marks on your forehead to smooth out, any tension that you're holding in your jaw, just to release that tension. See if you can allow this beautiful, gentle mother of pearl energy to soften your whole head. As you breathe out, just let any tension or any pressure wash through and down. Allow this light now to move down your throat, opening it up so that you may speak with authenticity and truth from your being. And down into your shoulder blades. Allow your shoulders to drop a little bit. Down into your arms, swirl it around your elbows, into your hands, and let it just be in your hands for a little bit as you just notice the energy in your hands. So just put your attention, full attention on your hands. And you may sense a tingling or warmth. This is just to show you that wherever your attention goes, energy flows. Whatever we focus on, that's where our energy flows to. And then it expands and amplifies. So now down, let's go down through the front of the torso into all the organs, beautiful washing, clearing, healing, down through your spinal column, down through each vertebra, down into the lower back, the buttocks, the hips, the pelvis, and release that whole section if there's any tension there. Down into your legs, your knees, swirl this beautiful mother of pearl energy around your knees, clearing out, cleaning, healing. Down into your shins and your ankles and into your feet, and down into the ground beneath you. Beautiful, beautiful roots coming from the bottom of your feet into the earth. And now just scanning your body, scanning your being for any areas of tension or tightness or resistance of any kind. And just breathing into that area very gently, with gentle compassion, and just allowing it to be exactly the way it is. holding a space for whatever it is that's arising in this moment. Allowing yourself to really just lean back into this beautiful field of potentiality. This beautiful quiet place beneath the surface of the mind. You could imagine a beautiful body of water, and it's clear, it's clean, and you're able to magically breathe underwater on your own. Just imagine just dipping down underneath the surface of the water until it's very, very quiet. So quiet that you can almost hear the sound of your own heart beating. This very quiet place where there's very few thoughts. There's nothing you need to strive for or achieve or fix. You can just be open and surrendered. Imagine now popping up to the surface of the water and floating. Just floating on top of the water, allowing it to gently just carry you. You have to do very little to just be carried by this water. Open, connected. Surrounded by light, filled with light, surrounded by love, filled with love, connected to all. Just luxuriate in this very quiet, beautiful place for a few more moments. Feel the relief, the release of this quiet space. This place of no thingness, where all is potentially possible. Going a little deeper now, just even a little bit more. Release, let go. Allow yourself to just sink in even more into this quiet place. Completely relaxed. Completely connected. And in this quiet place, you can plant a seed of intention for the next month. What you really want to be, how you want to be, how you want to show up in the world. Planting it in this fertile place of potentiality. And know that now that you've planted the seed, it is done. There's no further doing necessary. Now starting to become aware of your body again, you can rub your fingers together. Maybe even put your fingers up over your eyes. Maybe you can stroke your neck a little bit. Come back slowly. Take a deep breath in. And out. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. And I didn't include the card.
Well, you did to a
but I
certain
sort
degree.
of did, but I got carried away with it. So, I am love. So it was kind of...
I am love.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful, beautiful affirmation to hold in your awareness as we go through this very fertile time of the new moon. Just hold that. I am love. I am love. How beautiful is that? Thank you for the lovely meditation. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Lots of love. Thank you.
Thank you.